Have you heard this before? The mask can make you sick?
No,
Huh?
yeah, right.
The mask, I'm right? Do you mind if I film you?
Yeah.
So you agree that the mask is going to make you sick? Can you tell me why you think that?
Because the mask is very prevail.
Say again?
Very prevail.
Prevails.
Prevent the virus.
The mask will prevent the virus?
Yeah, virus.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you know many people who've died?
He died.
Do you know lots of people?
A lot of people.
From the corona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know many people?
No.
You don't? Because I've been talking to a lot of people and no one knows people that have really been, other than a few people now that are starting to get sick because they've been covering their breath. God gave you a breath so that you could breathe freely.
Okay.
Now man, he's taking it away from you. And if I can tell you to wear a mask, that makes me your master.
Make me a mask.
Yeah, if I can tell you to cover your breath, that means I must be your boss.
No, don't wear mask. No.
You don't wear the mask.
Yeah.
It's not good for you, right?
Yeah, it's good for me.
Because when you breathe out the stale air, and if you catch that and breathe that back in, your lungs are going to get sick. Yeah? Your lungs will get sick. People will get like TB lung because we're creating like a steamy environment, like with the mask on, and we're exhaling carbon dioxide, and then we're pulling the carbon dioxide back in, reducing the amount of oxygen that we're getting. So the mask naturally is going to make people sick.
Makes you sick.
Yes.
Why?
Well, because you are catching dirty air. Because when you breathe out, you're breathing out dirty air. It's like the exhaust from your body. Yeah?
Breathe dirty from a mask from.
No, because you see, there's not germs in the air that are going to make you sick like that. You know, you can't. If that was true, then every time you went on a taxi with 10 other people in a taxi, if one of them was sick, they would make you all sick. But you've been in taxi many times, and it doesn't matter if someone is sick on the taxi. If you're healthy, you're going to be healthy tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we've been convinced that there's millions of people dying, but that's not true. You know, maybe more people have got flu this year and maybe a few people more got sick last year and died because they were forced to stay away from their loved ones. They couldn't see their grandchildren. Yes. They couldn't go to church. They couldn't get in the community. They couldn't maybe go get sunshine and maybe eat the normal food. Now they're starting to put chemicals on their hands all the time. And this is new chemicals that the body now has to process. And when the body...
You told me no coronavirus.
Oh no, coronavirus is real. We have viruses in our bodies. We have thousands of viruses in our bodies. But this one that they call Corona-19 or whatever is just one of many. And every year there's a new virus that comes out. So, you know, our bodies are designed to kind of process, to deal with those new viruses. But what they do with the vaccine is that they create a vaccine from last year's virus and a few years before virus, and they just give you something from last time and then hope it works next year. Well, every year they say, we have to update it. We have to update the virus, the thing. So, no, we feel like what we're headed for is some kind of genetic modification of people, where they become reliant on medicines instead of oranges and healthy living and sunshine and getting together and so on, like we always did. I promise you, if you didn't own a TV, see how many satellites they gave away to people. They got satellite dishes. When you go to some of the townships, all you see is satellite dishes. Why? Because they want to make sure people see what the TV will tell you lies. Tell lies to your vision. The TV is called Tell Lies to Your Vision. Tell Lie Vision. And it's all lies, That's what they did with apartheid. They put apartheid on TV and made people into racists. And now they're doing it with this thing. They're using the fear that all these people are dying, when in fact in your reality you're not losing 10 friends every few months because of this thing. No, you're not, hey? Yeah. And I've spoken to a lot of homeless people in different countries even, and they're saying, hey, we're not losing any friends and we're the hardest up people, it should be affecting us most. And here's a funny thing, in South Africa they tell black people that you're less likely to die from it or get it than the white people. And in England they tell the white people that you're less likely, the black people are more likely to get it. It's nothing makes sense, So I think No, so I think what they're doing is they're using fear to create a new kind of reality in which people don't trust each other's breath. People don't trust each other's breath anymore, and we don't trust to be in each other's space, and we don't hold each other. You know, racism put black people and white people apart in a way that they shouldn't have been put apart. Now this thing is doing the same thing, and it's putting you apart from your neighbor, from your grandma, and it's based on nothing that you and I are really experiencing. So now I think that what we've done is we've created a problem for ourselves, because people are covering up their normal natural breath, and this is obviously going to make people sick. They're taking chemicals in their body. This is obviously going to be hard for some bodies to process. Yeah. And now we're not even getting to love each other, hold each other, hug each other, be with our loved ones and so on. So yes, this is going to depress people, stress people out. People have lost their jobs. People have been under pressure in this country. We had the riots recently. All these things are going to make people more sick, more stressed, more worried. And yes, we're maybe going to see a pandemic coming, but it wasn't here before. They created it out of nothing, and the media. This lady's going to move, I think. So there you go, my brother. I only give you this information with love. I'm trying to free humanity a little bit by little bit. This is me on the camera. I've been filming you. Obviously, you didn't mind that. But we are going to tell people the truth, and that the truth is actually, when it comes down to it, is that they're trying to hide something from you about you. And that actually, what if you are the center of creation? That God created you in God's image, right? This is what it says in the Bible. God created you in God's image, and now we are all here slaves with a master that can tell us when we can breathe, when we can smoke and drink, and when we can go to the shops and all of this sort of stuff. This is not God. This is against God. This is anti-Christ. I call the mask of the beast that we're wearing now is almost like we've fallen so far that we would allow a man, or rather not even a man, a government, which is not a man, it's just an institution, right? It's not even living. God created man, then we create these institutions that now tell us when we can breathe and when we can go to the shops. My friend, it's not right like that. And so we have to do our part to, realize that, wow, we are the most important thing here, and we have given away our power to government, because government only gets your power if you consent, if you agree. Do you understand that? What I mean by that? If you agree, if I say to you, I want you to wear a mask, and you say no, then that's not your consent. You say no, thank you. That's fine. I have to honor that, because your human rights are that you get to choose what you do for you. I can't force you to eat a certain food. I can't force you to go to sleep at a certain time. I can't force you to do these things or cover up your breath. This is wrong.
It's wrong.
This is against your basic human rights, and people have given it away because they trust a government or because they trust authority above themselves, which is not God. Well, I hope you can use that information and go through your life and raise your children in a way where you know that, gosh, we are the center of creation. When God created you in His image, and then Jesus spoke these words, Jesus wanted you to speak these words. Stand in the mirror and say, I was created in God's image, and I am the way, the truth, and the light. And no one comes to God but through me. So when you speak those words in the mirror, you're talking to yourself, and you're saying, you want to get to God, brother? You're only going to get through here, not through some preacher, not through some government, not through someone else, some other teacher. The teachers are good, but you've got to come back to, whoa, it's all about me. I am the master of my own ship. Or am I going to give away that mastery to some other dead entity like a government or a religion? God be with you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. Stay well. Remember, we are not going to cause each other to get sick. This is, prove it, man. Show me where the people have got together. And I mean, some people might go to the same party and end up getting sick because it was cold or they drank too much or whatever. And people can, it's a vibration thing. We're electromagnetic. So we don't actually understand exactly how these things always work. But the idea that I can get in the lift with you or give you a hug or whatever, and one of us is going to make the other one sick, particularly when we're not even sick. Hey, it's crazy. They've got us thinking that healthy people are sick people. And even sick people can't make you sick. If you're healthy, you go to a hospital, you work in a hospital, you worry about sick people all day long like my mother did. You're not going to come home and bring your home sickness to your family. No, you're not. That's how it always was.
Thank you.
Cheers, brother. Good luck. Cheers. Bye-bye. So there you go. That's Nice little conversation. It came from that little bit of road art.
And I'm fairly certain there's probably some energies around that are, part of
significant part of the way we've been feeling.
feeling.
Because today, this morning, I was like a lion, and I just wanted to tell people. And I not only did I tell this woman off from a distance as she walked into the distance, but I also lambasted a man for his willful ignorance or his compliance.
And then, I've been feeling like I need to take action because it feels like we're being squeezed, or sidelined, or and that our rights are not
Gone away, are non-existent,
or they're not valid.
Only when you follow mandate, when you
be
fall
obedient.
in line and be obedient.
And from the trauma work that I've been doing, the childhood trauma work I've been doing, obedience is something that we learn to do because we want to be validated. We want to be safe. We want to belong, and so we do that because when you're young and you need to feel safe, and you don't feel safe without the protection of your parents. And I'm not saying these are intentions of our parents, but we know that there's generations of trauma that runs vibrationally through us, and that's the inner work, the shadow work, that when we get triggered we're supposed to. And Dave and I are aware that today some of the triggering we had is obviously some stuff that we need to reflect on, and we will do
and act on.
But equally it feels like we're walking this very narrow path, and I think if you've got something that you can take action on and channel into something creative, then that's probably the best solution to this energy.
Yeah.
Which we obviously don't currently have, and are trying to make ourselves strong and healed as possible, so that we can be drawing that into our lives. But until that point, it just feels today like, a bit like I feel like having a tantrum and saying, this is not fair, this is wrong. And it hurts because it's, these people that we care about, who have become part of the separation, the sides. And I know this is all by design, the sides, because actually, we know that we're one consciousness, although we're walking in separation in this human form and this human body. We're not the body, we're this consciousness. And actually that's when we hug and we come together and stuff, we realize so much. We had a really wonderful experience a couple of days ago. We walked past a very quiet surf shop, and there were two young women working in there, and they were on their own in the shop and had their mask down, and because in South Africa that's
very unusual.
And we walked past, and Dave said, "Thank you for sharing your smile." Actually, sharing your smile was something I used to teach in social skills group with the children who struggled with facial expression, reading facial expression. And I used to say, go and share your smile. When you share your smile, you make someone else happy. And so Dave said to these two girls, really love to see your smile.
Yeah.
And they were so thrilled.
Enamored, yes.
They kind of welcomed us into the shop, and we were chatting about how much we missed hugging.
Because in South Africa, you don't feel comfortable walking into shops without a mask on because they're so fastidious about that here. Incredibly strict about that here. They got hit hard in South Africa at the beginning of the lockdowns.
And we ended up hugging. And then we were talking a little bit about, missing
Group hug.
family and friends that were in other places that we couldn't get to. And, was the psychology that because we can't get to them, we feel even stronger that we want to be near them. But I think it's more about our vibrational sharing. We are meant to be, where humans thrive on contact and connectedness.
Absolutely. Electromagnetic magnetism, sparking electricity, etc. It's meant to be happening.
And then of course is the opposite to that, where we're being violated in terms of our freedoms and connectedness, and we're being pushed into separation in so many different ways, whether it be in our minds, whether it be in our bodies, whether it be in our souls, and it's that's the strong feeling I have today. It's like I feel like I need to take action to stop that, to reverse that, and part of that is letting go of the past, because we know this train is moving in a direction.
Society has been altered irrevocably. It's just plain to see now.
But also, I got sent a video today on something traumatic that supposedly happened in Australia, and I can't verify it. And I'm not going to go into the details of it, but it was triggering. It was triggering, and are we being pulled into these storylines, and we have to choose whether we want to be part of them or not.
Yeah.
With the same time taking the view that we have to stand in our sovereignty, and we also have to be saying the emperor has no clothes on. Look, everybody, and the more people that say that, the more the emperor will be called out for having no clothes on.
Do some chalk. I've done a bit, and today more than any other day, in fact today probably is as much as all the other days put together. I've been reprimanded or dealt with by people in a way that was more kind of intense than previously. More, yeah.
I think
that's maybe the energy that Andrew was talking about.
Yeah, I reflect on that and say that actually this is where we have to, when we're triggered, doesn't mean you don't stand up for your rights, or you don't stand in your sovereignty, or you don't stand strong. But equally, if we're being triggered, we need to look at that trigger, because it's something in us. It's the shadow in us, and so within, so without. So whatever's going on in us, once we can heal that, and I'm walking that, and I know it's hard. Sure, it's hard. But when we can learn to let go of that trauma and stand in our authenticity, healed, then we can start to put the power in the right place. And so, I think that's what we've all got to start doing, is taking radical responsibility for our own behavior, because we're seeing it more and more as people are triggered, and then they're taking it on the person that's in front of them or whatever. And Dave and I do that with each other, so we're fully aware of it. It's so easy with your partner to kind of take that energy out of them.
Particularly when our normal lives have been impeded, imploded, or disrupted.
Yeah. Whatever normal is anymore, because we aren't going back. So this is about being present in the moment, and then so that we can forge something different for the future, whether that be collectively or just a slow evolution. But yeah, anyway, today we were feeling sort of these energies, and I think if you're in a really good place or a really good situation, you probably find the energies make you feel more like you want to just take action in the projects or the creation that you're involved in, and that's a good thing too. Just a little bit of information that I learned
This is interesting.
a couple of days ago. I'm busy
This
doing
fascinated me.
I'm busy doing a conscious parenting online course,
There's some dude up there.
and because I felt like I wanted to be a more connected being and a more connected parent, and something I learned about facial expression, and I used to help kids at school who were on the autistic spectrum or who suffered in the social areas of their lives. And, so expression was a really important part, and so how I've only come to this or thought about this now.
This is
But actually, what
incredible.
I think has triggered it is that we've noticed that Zizi more and more has started to shy away from looking at people's faces in South Africa, because
they don't have a
most-
face.
that most adults don't have a face, although there are even children that don't. But most adults don't have a face. They either got these neck scarves right up to here, so you
Yeah.
literally can't see the eyes,
Yeah.
or their mask fully covering. Until I stand corrected here, but till about the age of 6 or 7, children will be able to tell a person's expression by their whole face. So they need the whole face to be able to say, okay, I can tell what that person's feeling or thinking.
The whole face, guys. Those kids need to see the whole face.
Whole face.
What a mind bender.
When
This
they
has
reach
been
6
for
or
them.
7, they can then start to use the eyes more. They can use the eyes like adults. We can use eyes more. Although, let's be honest, I'd rather see a whole face and see that person's smile or that person's whole expression.
That guy whose video I made, sorry to interrupt you, honey, but that guy that you filmed me briefly with yesterday, I walked up to him to say, hey, do you realize how much you look like a gangster? And we joked about how, 2 years ago you would have been chased out of the bank for looking like that. Today, you'll be chased out of the bank for not looking like that. That is extreme societal re-engineering. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Deb and I are out and about quite a lot. And so obviously we're, I wouldn't say we're in the shops a lot, because we don't tend to go there unless we need a supply. But we're out and about, and we're not situated on a quiet little farm somewhere, or we were, but we're not at the moment. So we're obviously we see the sort of rules that people are following at the moment in South Africa, more so. And yeah, it kind of, I suppose maybe that's part of the way I was feeling today, is because it's like in your face, you can't get away from the fact that at the moment people are going through some sort of life-altering experience, and some could say, oh, it's all by design, and we can use these triggers to kind of do that shadow work, and it's all for the good. But I think there's two sides you can take in this, because some don't even realize that they need to do shadow work.
Guys,
So-
this is a big thing, I don't mean to impound you, get in the way there, baby, but the battery's about to run out. But guys, you need to know that this is about your inner trauma. I think it's hard for us flat earthers to see it like this, but actually, Andrew is right. We're all carrying trauma, every one of us, and it's until every one of us has healed, most of us, or many of us, then the majority are going to operate under this wounded child state of mind.
And we're going to wait
Fearful
for our parents,
and needing
i.e.
Big Daddy government
to tell us what to do next.
And my Uncle Pfizer, Uncle Fister. I can't believe it's come to this. Germ warfare.
So a lot of compassion, a lot of self-love, and a lot of quiet time. I think we're just sitting somewhere really quiet, and
Very quiet.
oh my goodness me, it's
Beautiful, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Don't know if you can see that, but anyway, I'll die.
Yeah,
The view out
I'm
the
sending my
window.
love to everyone.
Be well.
Andrea and Zizi are in the shop. I seldom go
You know, it used to be a fun outing and a time to explore things, but I don't do it much. And this is just like the tip of the iceberg. Just everywhere you turn, people's lives impinged, altered, irrevocably. Where does it end? How does it end? I'm just sad for it. I got a bit triggered yesterday on the beachfront in the morning by a lady who told me to stop defacing the sidewalk, and then proceeded to pour water on some of my artwork, my teaching. And she was jogging away with her friends, and I started yelling at her about, you know, shame on her. Just want this truth out, free people's minds. But there were a few people. Yesterday was one of the most contentious days, with people contending what I was doing in various ways, various times, but I felt more compelled to be contentious. This morning we went to see a school which is like an off-grid school. Awesome. Really, guy called Nico there. Really nice guy, really woke, as they say. But been living it actually, so more than woke, actually, you know. And he's a teacher, or his former mainstream school teacher, and now he provides a natural environment for children to cooperate and learn. It's awesome to see Zizi playing with natural things, like so much more instinctively. He's lost some of that sort of natural joy of playing with the leaves and the bugs and the environment. So, but I got the opportunity to be with some of the children there, so it reminded me how I was always like really good as Jess and Luke grew up. I was always good with their pals when they came around. You know, I was sometimes children said, yeah, you know, I wish their dad was like me. Just playful kind of guy, you know, willing to play at their level. So it was nice to have a taste of that again. Yeah. So much is in flux. People are just trying to hang on and just... The bombs will stop landing eventually, you know. That's what you do when the bombs are coming. You just jump in the trench. And the pounding stops soon enough. But until then, it's heads down and masks on. Anyway, there's a lot of gameplay all over here. A lot of veterans will be feeling cheated with the Kabul business or the Afghan business. They're not really concerned about that here in South Africa. It doesn't tweak people much at all. It doesn't have the same resonance. It doesn't have the same potential for boogeymen to come and pop things. They already had their little outburst of rage here a few weeks ago, you might remember. So maybe that also was the thing that just you know, the engineers know they need to every now and again just fire up the adrenals, get the whole group thinking along a certain way, creating a certain way. We are creators, and we are creating something really bizarre, but you know, like this guy Nico proved, with school, you can create something different. And hopefully there is eventually more than a trickle of people becoming awakened to an alternate state of mind, or maybe a break from the spellcraft or hypnosis. Whew. I hope that you are finding your way. It's pulling at us, the system, tugging us out of balance. The last few days I even did some stretching. It's been a time since I was taking care of myself. The guy just walked out with a t-shirt that says Manna from Heaven, but it's M-A-N-N-A. Put 2 L's on the end and you got my surname. Never try to hide that. Hello. Yeah. Guess we have to watch and wait, and I don't know what time or line or the extent. Bumped into a guy yesterday, total off-gridder, and he's like, you know, it's going to be, you know, a total kind of clear out. I don't see that. This dystopian like business of masks for men with flowers, it's never gonna be normal. I don't want to be filming people in a clandestine way. It's no, I don't want to do that. I just wanted to show that here it's. But the interesting thing is that the African people, the black African people, are amazing. Like in the main, they are really decent souls and connected to Source more readily, more easily than their European counterparts. I mean, give them a generation of westernization that can change everything very quickly, but in the main, the people are so humble, respectful, you know, and of course quite obedient, which is, I mean, we've all been guilty of obedience, right? Order following and obedience. It's the scourge of our society. But these African people, they don't trust the vaccine. They don't. So many of them say, I don't trust it. And they actually ask if you've had it. I've been asked that question many times now. They want to know, but they're fearful of it. But no one is giving any counter view of any meaningful, you know, like, oh yeah, there's this other thing you can do, or other thing you can take. Still buying into the idea that it's, you know, that's what you've got to do, rather than get your government to spend £1 billion and buy up a whole lot of oranges, £1 million rand or whatever, £1 million pounds, and buy up all the oranges, and then just give everybody lots of oranges. That's what they want, oranges. So Give people oranges and love, not fear. Fear is that vibration that causes dis-ease. Sorry about the pause. It wasn't intended. My brain just didn't have anything to say from wherever these things to say come from. I think I should say thank you to the farmer, Francois the farmer, and his brother, Andre, for firstly for giving us a place to stay for about a month, and then lending me this car, which has freed me up to free my mind a bit more. So thanks for that. And here come my beautiful